Guerrilla Radio. That shit up. Lights up.
Knives out. Guerrilla Radio.
Turn that shit up. Knives out.
Podcast, everybody.
Knives out.
Films like, did you get it?
I got it now that you've said it.
Good.
I didn't get it beforehand.
Hey team,
It's
Angus
Angus
Strachan here.
here.
Welcome to the Film Slice
Podcast.
I'm here, as always, with my co-host,
Kitty Willy
Kane Dogs.
Thank you.
And the man formerly known as Bro Diddly Doo Broadman Richards. This week he is known as...
Pedward Knife Face.
Pedward Knife Face.
Oh,
It's a classic. It's a classic. This week we are reviewing Knives Out.
Get your knives out.
Kane Dogs, you want to whip your IMDb summary out?
A detective investigates the death of a partridge
Of a partridge? Isn't that a tree?
Sorry, I'd like to try again.
Please do.
A detective investigates the death of a patriarch of an eccentric, combative family.
Jordan, can you please stop making that sound?
Oh, man.
It was impressive you doing that and speaking at the same time.
Yeah, it was incredibly impressive.
Well,
I did that with my
played.
third arm.
Sweet. Directed by?
Someone
Starring?
else. Daniel Craig.
Cool.
Chris Evans.
Excellent.
Other people.
Super. When did you see the movie, what'd you think?
When did you see the movie? What did you think? Do you like the movie? None of the shit.
I saw the movie yesterday, and I liked it. I don't know. I found myself flipping. I walked out quite negative, and I'm more positive on it now. That being said, every time I've described it, I've had far more negatives than positives to say.
Fair enough.
The film's a bit elusive to me.
Okay.
that's
I guess
fair,
we better unpack this throughout this podcast.
No,
Probably
let's
be
do
a
it
great
all. Can we
time
just
to
do it? If we could do it all right now, and then come back to your when you saw it.
Pedwood Bricked Hands?
Perfect.
Tedward Knife Face. If you can do it.
Face for knives. I also saw it yesterday. And I thought it was average
Twinsies.
on the...
Sorry, go on.
Thank you. I thought it was pretty average on
Twinsies.
the...
Sorry, go on.
I thought it was pretty average on the general of it, but yeah, it was
Average on the general.
average on the general.
That's
And if you don't
fair
know
enough.
what that terminology means, you'll have to sift through.
You'll have to wait till the end of the podcast to find out all the way to the end.
Yeah.
Because the longer you listen, the exact same amount of money we make, which is nothing.
That's exactly right. You've nailed it on the head.
No. Okay, Angus, when did you see the movie?
And what did you think?
Guess what? I saw the movie last night.
Oh, not today.
Twinsies!
Thruplets.
Twins.
I saw it last night and I quite enjoyed it. It was a fun little saunter down on the cinemas. It was good. I enjoyed it.
It's a murder mystery flick if you haven't seen it.
Lads, you know how every week I put up on Instagram without fail what movie we're reviewing, and I ask our lovely slicey slicers out there what their thoughts are on the film, so we can chuck it in the podcast because we're a family here at the Film Slice Podcast. We're all adopted.
We're all related.
But, we try and make it as well as we can. Anyway, normally no one gets back to me. Classic family, am I right?
How are things at home?
That's fine. Well, guess bloody what?
What?
Yeah, we got nothing.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Is that because you,
That's-
Brody, forgot
that's
to write in things under the other accounts, or is that because Angus put it up late?
I've only got one account. I didn't write anything because I figure I'm on the podcast and I'll
That
just
makes
say
sense,
it here.
yeah. That does make
You
sense, yeah.
dill hole. I've got a cheeky little segment for this though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Good,
so
we've needed some
go for it.
refreshments.
I thought, what best to do for our social media thing than to try to make a viral video. Unfortunately, we're not filming this, so it might be hard. So we're going to make a viral audio.
Oh, okay.
So, and the viral audio is called "Throwing Knives at Jordan" for Knives Out. So Angus, take some
yes.
cutlery.
We actually have a knife.
Okay,
Oh,
Brody's,
yeah.
Brody's bought a
How
bunch
many
of-
do I get?
Brody's bought a bunch of...
grab a fork, grab a spoon, grab whatever you like.
I'll grab a
so
fork.
Jordan, your challenge
I'm going to fork.
So Brody's
is
bought a
to
bunch
rate.
Fork cane dogs.
Oh, I've got a lot of cutlery, more than Angus.
Brody's... Yeah, Angus has picked up... Angus has got 3 plastic forks, and Brody has a tub of plastic cutlery.
I've got
boy.
2 knives and a fork.
So Jordan, your challenge is to rate all of the Terminator films, 1 through best through worst, in that order, best through worst. whilst getting knives thrown at you. Here we go.
Can I have more then?
Yeah. Grab some more
Wait,
knives there.
okay. All right,
Okay.
so
I'm gonna
first,
spoon in.
I have 3 questions.
Oh, well, it's a shame because we're going to
Ready,
start in 5
set,
seconds.
go!
Okay.
What's the best one,
The
Jordan?
best one is Terminator 2 for its practical effects and groundbreaking
Take a spoon.
improvements on the story.
Oh, I hate the mic.
The next best one is Terminator 1 because it's the closest thing we've got to Terminator 2. And it started off the
Bounced off his watch.
franchise, and then from there, probably Salvation, just because it's not the others. That legitimately hurt.
Keep going, man. Keep going.
And then after Salvation,
There's still like 4 more films.
you've got Terminator 3, just for some of the things.
Well, we've run out Colour Jordan, and you did not rate all of the Terminator films, so you have failed this week's challenge.
And then Genesis and Dark Vader together. Oh, that was... You sack tapped my dick with a knife about 3 times, and each time it worked. I'm very out of breath. We're not doing that as a segment every week, are we?
No, it's going to be different stuff that we'll throw at you.
Is it still...
It's
Am I
themed.
still rating the Terminator films?
It's themed.
We'll see.
Okay, great. In other news, I forgot to put it up on Facebook.
Oh, that's... Right.
And no one wrote in.
Fair enough.
And no one wrote in. I wonder
No one
why.
wrote in. Also, no one wrote in.
Good, I guess that's what our Slicey Slices thought of Knives Out. To be fair, it's actually released this Thursday. So there are just a few screenings.
It was released this Thursday, apart from all the
As
other
in
screenings
this
that they
Thursday
released. Yeah, apart from the fact that it exists already and people have seen it.
Hey, are you okay? Maybe we shouldn't do that segment. Jordan can't talk.
I didn't see it. I didn't expect it. I'm also a bit confused as to what happened.
Cool.
But anyway, moving
Knives
on.
Out.
Sweet.
It was on brand.
Yeah, it was.
There's more spoons than anything else.
Well, spoons are heavier.
All right, would you recommend it? Who would you recommend it to? Diggity.
Sorry, let me cut for one. Yeah, I'd absolutely recommend this to anyone that loves a good old sort of mystery drama. Any of those people that love, maybe even like, I can't pretend I've read any, but maybe any sort of like novelizations, any mystery novels, stuff like that.
Yeah.
This just feels very like classic Sherlock Holmes-ish. And it is a fun time, but it's not very fast paced. So anyone who enjoys like, sort of a slow burn, yeah, absolutely, I recommend it.
Yeah, I would pretty much agree with that. Just be prepared for the slow goings.
This is very kind of reminiscent of like the old TV shows like Detective Poirot and all the Agatha Christie novels. It like paperback.
Yeah, I could see that.
That kind of
Me
stuff.
and Brody's parents didn't make us watch those films. That's just your parents that made you watch them. We watched cool things like The Simpsons and Futurama and Red Dwarf.
Well, where did that get you?
I mean, I'm standing in the same room you are, mate. So
I think that got knives thrown at you.
got me left out of a cool rap, and I got spooned by you both.
Let's head into the spoilers.
Oh, what a cool sound effect, Angus.
All right, we're in the spoiler section where we dissect and divulge everything about the film. You've been warned. Look out, we'll stab you with a knife. Did we do that one last week? I think we might have.
I don't know. I think we've stabbed a lot of people.
We've stabbed a lot of people.
There's been a few fatalities.
Anyway, Cinema Dicks. Anyone got a Cinema Dick?
Right,
Yeah.
Would you like to go first or shall I?
Nah, I'll go first.
Okay.
Let me scroll down to this paragraph.
Okay.
Rocked up to the cinema, got into the line, looked over, there's Jordan and Elise, buying some tickets, buying some tucker, going to the movies. And I'm like, hey, how you going? He's like, yeah. You see the movie too? I'm like, yeah. And he's like, you want to sit together? And I was like, yeah, sure. So
Makes sense, because I didn't want to sit awkwardly like yes, I was with someone else, but I didn't want to sit away from him.
Yeah, we get into the cinema. Jordan picks the seats. He kind of leans over and he's like, "Now I want to make it very clear, Brody, that I bought both of our tickets. I want to make it really clear." So Jordan was just basically flexing on his new job the entire night, which was a bit.
I haven't got a new job yet. That doesn't start until next year.
Yeah, well, you already flexed on it, man. So he bought an ice cream, a drink, and some popcorn that he ate to himself and did not share with me or Elise.
I offered to buy food. but I was
which
the
was
only one that wanted
just
it.
another flex of his new job, as far as I can see.
have a new job.
Just flexing his money.
I'm just very broke now.
Then just before the movie starts, some people come in and they're like, "Oh yeah, think you're sitting in our seat." So Jordan picked seats that were someone else's seats. So Jordan's like, and Jordan doesn't go like, "Oh yeah, we'll move or anything." He just says, "Yeah, if someone is like, if you sit in someone else's seats, we'll move." And I didn't that. That was such a random way
what?
to. Yeah, it was a really weird way to phrase it.
If you sit
I
in someone
got
else's seat.
I've got my own 2 cents on this, all right? But we'll circle back.
And so then they sat in other seats, and I was like, okay, I guess that's fine. But then after all that, he made his date sit in the back seat as he drove him home, which was weird.
No, I've got more to say on this.
So he showed up. He was just like, look at all the fucking money I'm rolling in it now these days. But I don't have enough money to buy you food. Just me.
What a
and
story.
then he sat in someone else's seats.
What a story.
May I offer
Unfortunately, that's all the time we have.
No, it's not. Nobody wants to hear about this film. I have a rebuttal.
You've got a bubble.
You've got a bubble.
I have a rebuttal. Okay. No. I have a rebuttal. I took Elise to the movies. Alright, cool. Either that means they're not doing it, they only do it on selected nights, or the film must be fuck empty. Brody! Well, Brody's here. I'm not going to make him, I want to interact with my friend. I sat under the assumption we didn't have allocated seating, which is what I was told, in 3 seats. But if someone does ask you guys to move, we'll happily get out of your seats. Right? Everything was fine. And then, film ended, and Brody went, oh, my train's in like 45 minutes.
I'm just saying it's weird.
And Brody
Jordan had a
still
date, and he was like, "Bro, do you want to come with?"
It
and I was
wasn't
like,
a date.
Nah.
It was-
And then he was like, "Ah, come on, man, she can sit in the back."
And, well, it can't, and then, no, she didn't have to sit in the back. So I pulled over, and then I called Brody, convinced him, and he was like, yep. And then I went back. I said, does anyone want any food? And Brody said, no.
Yeah.
And so I dropped Brody off, and then we went to McDonald's, and fucking ran into Brody getting McDonald's, you prick. That's my cinematic.
So the date went well.
The date went well.
Very good. I'm not sure how much of that we could keep. 'Cause
No, you put it in double time, it'll be fine. Or just cut Brody's bit. Anyway, Angus, you're positive.
I have an actual cinema dick.
Hey.
I'm not going to tell you about my life story. I'm just going to tell you about cinema dick.
No.
I sat next to my girlfriend.
Yeah.
And
What a dick.
throughout the film, she would be like guessing the plot to me.
Oh,
Like,
no, you don't want to do that.
I bet you it's that person. And I like the first time she did it, I'm like, stop. you can't do that. You can't do that.
How many, were there other people in the cinema?
There are a couple.
The thing is, the film is purposely set up to make you think it's everybody, so why would you bother doing that?
Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, that was my cinema dick. Nice, short, sweet. There we go.
Okay, great.
Most positive thing about Knives Out, the movie that we're talking about. Who wants to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first. I didn't call the ending for the reason that you don't want people guessing, which is that by the time we got to sort of, the mystery does get revealed, and I'll talk a bit about that more, but I knew there was clearly more to the story, and I was still trying to guess who it was, and I hadn't worked it out by the time it was revealed. Mm-hmm. And yeah, that's one of my positives, and I guess it's because you do kind of be like, well, it's one of them and it could be anyone, because the film's written that it could definitely be anyone, and the ending's probably going to be a bit contrived, so there's no point guessing. So by the time it was exposed, I was like, oh, I didn't actually guess it. Also, Chris Evans, man, he's just charismatic and I really like him. I just like him. I've got a man crush, but Chris Evans is my positive.
So if you look really good and are very charismatic, you could probably get away with murder.
Hey.
Yeah, and that's why I haven't. Brody.
I really liked the lead actress. I thought she did a great job, and I also really liked the overall vibe and look of the house. Mm-hmm. I kind of just wanted more stuff in the house. Really, I would have liked it. Like, you know, there's so many moments in these sorts of films where they're like everyone's asleep in the house and someone's like creeping around the house and they're like fun secret shit and stuff like that. I just really liked the setting. I like that weird old family manor type feel that the house had. I really liked it.
And it's a cool idea to have it set in a murder mystery writer's house, because then it's got like all of those things like halfway through when they show like the secret window or something, they're like, that's from this book and that's from this book.
And I might have even liked more of that stuff. You know, if
absolutely.
like if his murder was riddled with stuff from all of his books, you know, it's like here's the knife they used in the first book. It's like, remember in the second book where that person, you know, wore this thing to like make people think that it was like this other guy or whatever, and like they wore that and stuff like that. I reckon that would have been like a great, because you're almost making fun of the like mystery novels themselves in a mystery.
Yeah, it becomes like a parody of itself in a good way.
Yeah, definitely. I'm gonna go ahead and say pretty much everyone in the cast did an awesome job, and I really like the cinematography. It wasn't big and epic, but it was exactly what it needed to be. It's like very reminiscent of those murder mystery TV shows and stuff. Like there's a lot of just locked off shots. I think the first like 3 or 4 shots are all just tripod shots, like they don't move or anything, they're just of things. And that was very reminiscent of TV stuff, low budget, all that kind of stuff. So I really enjoyed that. Daniel Craig's accent,
No,
I think he did a good accent. I
Yeah.
think the problem with that is he
dressed
looks
like
like,
James
Daniel
Bond.
Craig.
yeah.
There's nothing. They
also-
needed to do you know prosthetics, like wig, like lots of
Yeah,
makeup,
yeah.
look different.
at the very least, not
Definitely.
put him in a 3-piece suit.
Yeah, right. He looked exactly 100% like James Bond has looked in the last 4 films. Right?
Yeah.
And so he was just James Bond doing like a Kentucky accent.
Yeah.
And it was
That's
just like,
Yeah.
You just couldn't buy it because like he's so well known for James Bond.
Yeah.
He needed like wig and like, you know, mustache or something like that. And wearing like slightly different clothes, like maybe like a tweed jacket instead of like a 3-piece suit or
something.
whatever.
Yeah, definitely. Or a pipe.
Yeah.
That would be cool. Shout outs to
I know you mean smoking pipe. My brain just went to him holding a piece of
Just a
PVC
lead
pipe.
pipe.
It's like just some white PVC pipe. Just
it was
carried
Daniel
around.
Craig in the bathroom.
Not even like a thin one that you could use as a weapon, but a big, solid, just like a girthy one that he just carry around. You're right. That would improve the character.
Shout outs to the storyline. I didn't pick the mystery. I was kind of trying to follow it, and there were like a lot of kind of loose ends and everything. Like at one point I was thinking, maybe he's still alive because he talks about
thought
like
that.
prop knife or something. I'm
Yeah.
like, he's used a prop knife, all that kind of
Well,
stuff.
it's also just like, what are
Or,
the
like-
odds that the night of the party, he's like, I'm going to tie off all these loose ends and then die. And I'm like,
yeah.
there's no way you're dead. You've tied off all
Exactly,
these
yeah.
loose ends, and then you've hired someone to catch your killer. You framed someone or whatever, but it will be him.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so like the definitely props to the storyline and props to the writing as well. I thought the writing, like the dialogue, was just really fun, and all of everyone was very different characters, and their dialogue and everything suited their characters so much.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. It was.
I enjoyed it, but I enjoyed it, but I think I've got a lot more negative things to say than positive.
I think the only problem that this movie will have is that once you know the mystery, you know the mystery, so it doesn't have a big rewatchability factor. Because I mean, I maybe watch it once again to kind of follow it, and now that I'm like ready to look out for certain things.
What would have been better?
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt. What would have been better is it would have maintained rewatchability if they didn't recap all of Chris Evans's parts within the film when they explain the mystery. When they're like, and that's why you reacted like this, and that's why you said that, and that's why if they hadn't have done that, then when you rewatched it, you would have been looking at all of the ways he reacted and gone, oh, that's why he laughed at the will reading. That's why he cared. That's why he knew about the note. That's why. But because they just did all that the first time, there's no point rewatching it.
Yeah, cool. All right, let's get into the negatives. I'm going to go first because I don't really have a lot of negatives.
Yeah, sure thing.
My biggest negative, and it annoyed me to no end, was, in that interrogation room where they've got that big knife collection
shrine
that kind of
thing.
all goes... They're all pointing. Every single knife or weapon is all pointing into the center, except for one cleaver at the very bottom right. And it just annoyed the hell out of me. It was just hanging slightly off. just kind of pointing upwards instead of inwards, and it annoyed me
I'm
to
really
no
glad
end.
I didn't
That's my
notice that.
biggest. That's my biggest negative.
Cool.
Wow.
Sorry for people that haven't watched it and are now going to watch it, going,
Just like,
there
that's
it
the
is.
Angus cleaver.
The Angus cleaver.
That's amazing. I thought my main negative is just it was just a little bit long, and the ending reveal to me, it was all just like it was just a bit lengthy and a bit much, and they just kept layering on things on things on things and things. And seeing though they already told us exactly how he died early in the film and showed us, I felt like any sort of wanting in me to find out what happened was relieved when they showed that scene early in the film.
And that was like the middle of the film as well.
Yeah, it was like the middle of the film. It's like, this is what happened. She did this. He went through this plan. It's like, oh, this is what you've got to do to make sure that you're innocent and you're all good. And he kills himself. And it's like, and you're like, okay,
So I guess we know now.
yeah. And it was just like, okay, so I know how he died.
Yeah.
And so once that happened, I was just like, huh. And then the film just kept going on for like another hour and 10 minutes, and it was just like, oh, jeez.
Yeah, I do agree. I was a bit confused after I saw like him actually die, and then just be like, "Yep, this is how he died." You're like,
Yeah.
Okay,
I think
so-
I think my main problem is just like I didn't like any of the characters that like lived in the house. All the entire family, they're all irritating
Yeah,
and
so
they're all
you
dickish.
don't care who
so
did
I,
it.
Yeah, so I don't care anything, and I'm like, so one of them does it. Okay, I don't like any of them.
yeah,
And then she started getting close and close to Chris Evans. I was like, well, obviously it's him. And it's like I didn't have to like draw any lines or anything. I was just like, well, she's getting close to him. It's gonna be him.
yeah, fair
And
enough.
so then when the film went on, and he's just like, and then Dan Craig's like, hold on 1 second. And he's just like, you did this. Then he's like, you can't prove that. Well, you also did it. You can't prove that. Well, you also did. You can't prove that. And he's like, well, you also did this. And because you did this, you did this. Oh, just because I killed her is like, I was lying. Haha, we got you. Now I'm going to try to stab you. It was just like 7 revelations in one
I think you
scene.
swapped
Yeah,
accents
yeah.
there.
And
You gave Chris
and
Evans the
they
take.
kept like going back and showing you stuff. It was all one scene. They went through 7 different things of trying to and they're all like, it was Chris Evans, and they told you that in the first one, and we already knew that basically. And then they tried to tell you that another 5 times after that. So there was just like this really long, drawn out thing, and I was just like, oh,
Yeah.
And it was just like kind of just like chipping away at me, and just like, yeah, I'm bored.
It's the
And
problem with the
I just felt really bored in that moment.
Yeah, the problem with a really detailed mystery is it takes a long time to explain without, because if you don't explain everything, people just walk away with loose ends.
But my also problem with it is that because the audience didn't have any of that information, how are we supposed to know?
Yeah, how would we
I
care?
always
Exactly.
like it when the audience has enough information to figure it out themselves.
yeah.
And so when they're just like, he did it because of all these things, and you're just like, oh, I didn't know any of those things.
Well, yeah, that's
Okay.
good to know, I guess. Yeah, fair enough. Diggity.
My biggest negative, I think, is Daniel Craig. Not how good a job he did of the role he had. I think more his character. But with the film, for me, the fun comes from the detective being witty and clever and looking at things in a way that other people don't look at it. And I think, on one hand, I don't think he came across as all that likable, witty, or intelligent. He really sort of thumbled his way through a lot of obvious clues. Where he's like, oh, a bit
Fumbled his way or fumbled his way?
Both.
What's correct? Because that's a genuine question. I'm
Fumbled.
asking.
Fumbled.
Fumbled.
Yeah.
I just have a lisp, you prick.
No,
That's-
you just say it with the TH.
Yeah.
You can't blame it on a lisp.
No, I'm blaming it on a lisp. So the other thing is, I have a lisp, it's fine. The other, like, it's a lot of him being like, oh, this is a bit of blue fence. This must belong to that bit of blue fence. Oh, someone's broken this blue fence. Yeah, you're not a great detective. A dog gave that to you.
The fence was
And I
green.
think that's
And, it was a
also...
fence, but
it-
yeah, sure.
I think that was made worse by the other 2 detectives in the room being incredibly dumb and dismissive. So instead of him walking in and being like, oh, he's smarter, he's more attuned to these kind of mysteries, he's clever, he's witty, and he's got all these strategies. It's just, no, the other 2 detectives are just fucking dumb. And as a result, he's an average intelligence man that looks smarter. But I just didn't enjoy any of his parts. None of him solving the mystery was enjoyable to me. And that was a big part of the film.
Yeah, it would change his character a bit because his whole arc is, like his whole backstory is like, I just wait around and I wait to find out. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
but
the whole thing is just waiting and it's just going to fall in my lap.
And
So
that's
it's not
fine,
like
but that's
his-
boring as fuck. Like, if you're like, yeah, my main detective, his cool strategy to solve crimes is he just does nothing until someone tells him what happened. And it's like, well, great, but you don't need to be a detective for that then. That's anybody who's patient. And my biggest negative is just that I went into this really looking forward to kind of a Sherlock Holmes-ish, but not so like, here's magic. Just give me a character who's more intellectual than the others and socially strategical. And just give me that, and let me just watch him, like, maneuver his way through this family to the truth. And instead, what they gave me was 2 detectives who are like, no, suicide. And he's like, slitting your own throat is a pretty weird way to go. They're like, no, look, we looked at it's suicide. And then there's like, close the book. It's like, all right, well, anyone is going to look better than them standing next to them. And the detective we got was super boring. And I think that's my biggest negative. And yeah, the others Brody sort of touched on, which is that once you reveal how it happened, I don't care who did it. Because every character is unlikable past that. I didn't care. I wouldn't have cared less who it ended up being. By the end, I would have come up with an excuse for anyone to have done it, and I wouldn't have felt any different. If it wasn't Chris Evans and it was Michael Shannon's character, I would have been like, okay, I don't care. Like, for the last hour, I was like, just pick someone. Could be anybody. Yeah. I don't care.
Fair enough. I think another thing that I probably dislike a bit is how tied up in a bow it was at the end. The bad guys get their just desserts and the good guys are good because they're good.
Yeah.
Like, the thing that I didn't really like was at the end, Daniel Craig saying, no, you did the right thing because you're a good nurse. You're a good person.
You beat him because you have a good heart. It's like, well, you also tried to frame a murder and cover it up.
Also, that's not how life works. Yeah. You know? My favourite line, I'm introducing a new segment. Angus's favourite line of the movie.
This is specific only to you.
So we can never have a favourite line.
Well, a bit arrogant, but sure. Go on. You've named it.
You can introduce your own segment.
All right.
My favourite line of the movie was, "You did this."
No. It was Hugh.
It was Hugh.
Did this.
as soon as she's like, no, she was saying Hugh did this. I'm like, that's a bit ugly. That's a bit cheap.
Like she wakes up. No, I was saying you did this.
Yeah.
Oh.
No, actually, yeah, it's your fault.
So you and Hugh sound similar.
I think my favourite part of this was Chris Evans being like, and since I know that you vomit when you lie, and you just ate a whole thing of baked beans, and he pushes like a bowl in front of him, like, you slide.
You motherfucker. Also, that would suck.
You son of a bitch.
If you had to throw up when you lied. That would not be fun. You would have to be a good person. You couldn't not be a good person.
And even
so
then,
really, this movie is just...
Even then, you wouldn't have many friends.
It's only when you say lies, can you still like do sign language lies?
I think it's like...
I think it's she feels guilty to the point where her body...
Anything
throws
guilty,
up.
yeah.
Okay. But I mean, that's tricky territory as it is, because her mum is illegally in the country. She's living a lie. I mean, it's like, I can't lie. How'd your mum get here? Yeah, like... How have you gone this long? How did you do that? How have you gone this long only telling one person? Surely everyone knows. Every time she goes near a cop, and like, anytime she goes near a cop, she'll be like, oh, it feels like... Immediately, surely. How did she do that?
Yeah, all good questions. All questions that we will probably not look into any further.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we thought of Knives Out. We're going to end it there. Cane Dogs, next week... What are we reviewing?
We can either do a recap of Star Wars 7 and 8, which I'd probably recommend.
Nah.
Or Charlie's Angels.
No, we're doing Frozen! Frozen, motherfuckers!
I'll do Frozen.
Yeah, we're doing Frozen.
All right. Would you like to handball that to me again? And I'll...
I do not want to see that fucking ice movie. Piece of shit. Kids, snowman, fucking bullshit.
My favourite idea is just Brody going into the cinemas by himself. With
like 1 p.m.
a cinema full of little children.
With light up shoes.
Screaming and just yelling and singing along. Yeah, it's going to be great. Yeah, yes, next week we are doing Frozen. Oh, yeah. Ice, ice, babies.
Thank you for listening to that. I would like to put my foot forward and say I'm super excited to watch Frozen just because I know Brody's gonna hate it. Angus, do you think all three of us should get together and watch Frozen?
Both of my feet are forward and I'm falling over right now.
If we watch Frozen for our 100th episode, I have no idea.
Is it? Baby! I think
see you next week for 100 episode Frozen. Bye!
Kill me.